Hi everyone, welcome to this revision video for lecture 3 of organizational behavior. The topic that we're going to talk about today is organizational and international culture. My email's down there. If you have any questions or you want to ask something, you can go ahead and email me. Let's look at the learning outcomes for this topic today. Okay. Now, there's two basic types of culture in a company or an organization. Let's start by defining culture. What does culture mean? Culture is basically a group of values, a system, some norms that you have in your company. So just like a country or an area, a company has its culture as well. Now, there's two different types of values in the company that is called espouse or enacted. We're going to talk about that in more detail now. So before that, let's discuss what artifacts are. So for example, if you look at the dress code at Apple or Steve Jobs, the way he dressed, the jeans and the turtleneck, that was part of the culture. It became something that was like an artifact, or that was something that was important in their organization, something that they could look back at. That is an example of an artifact. When we look at the espoused values versus enacted values, espoused values are the values that the company wants you to have. Like, for example, punctuality. That could be an espoused value. But is the staff in the company actually punctual or not? If they're not, if they are consistently late, that is enacted values. Enacted values are the ones that are actually there in the company. Espoused are the one that the management wants to have. So if there's a big gap between these two, that means the organizational culture is not very let's say, engraved in the organization. There's a gap. It's not working well. The type of culture that the organization wants or the management wants to have, it's not happening. So let's have a look at the cultural paradigms around the world. So the culture could mean the relationship with the environment, reality and truth, human nature, human activities, human relations. So all of these are things that are impacted by the culture. There is a theory called Denison's Organizational Cultural Survey. In this, he said that there's four main traits or four main characteristics of culture in an organization. One is the mission, two is the involvement, three is the consistency, and four is adaptability. So these are important traits that a culture or any organization has. Let's have a look at the organizational cultural profile. There's 9 different type of cultures that they're discussing here. So for example, an organization with an innovative culture, they focus mainly on these types of culture are focused on innovation. They're flexible, their status is not important, accountability is valued, and they're adaptable. And they have a flat hierarchy. That means there's not a lot of management levels. Then, on the other hand, if an organization has an aggressive culture, that means there's a lot of competitiveness inside and outside the company. So employees are not only trying to outperform the competitors of the company, they're also trying to outperform each other in the organization. Third is outcome oriented. So in this type of organization that has this culture, achievements, results, and actions are what is most valued. It's mostly based on performance, and in this type of culture, if results are valued more, then people might do things that are unethical just to achieve those results. Number 4 is a stable culture. In a stable culture, that means there's rules, it's precise, it's predictable. People know they have stability and consistency. And number 5 is people oriented. That's where people are focused on the company believes that people are their greatest assets. It's supportive, respectful towards the people. Number 6 is team oriented. So this type of culture is mainly focused on collaborating with each other, cooperating, helping, working in teams. Then there's detail oriented. It involves a lot of attention to details. There's a lot of analysis and it needs to be precise, the activities. Then there's service. So it's mainly focused on empowering the employee so they can focus on giving good services to the customers. It's proactive and there's a lot of engagement. Number 9 is safety. That means there's a safe culture, there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of feedback to what you're doing, there's dialogue, and there's integration. This was the organizational cultural profile. Now let's have a look at the 3-phase model of organizational socialization. Now let's assume that you've just you are joining an organization. So the first phase of joining is anticipatory socialization. That is something that you experience or that you learn before joining the organization. So you might do some research about it, and then you might have some expectations or some perception of the culture that they might have. After that is the encounter. So that's when you actually go into work for your first day, or like for the first month or 2 months. You actually see what's going on. You see the amount of conflicts, the roles, the tasks, the groups that they're there. That's called the encounter, so that you're actually face to face with the organization and its culture. Next is the 3rd phase, that's change and acquisition. So in this phase, you understand the organization's culture, you've been working there long enough to know what it is, and you adapt to it, you change, you master your tasks, and you adjust to the norms and values of the company. So that was the 3-phase model of organizational socialization. This is all for this video. In case you have any questions, my email is right here. Please feel free to email me.